So far with the races... Oh, okay, Wolf, you're continuing your story. I appreciate you sharing that table talk, Chaco and Wolfblade. So with this pure Onomancer wizard, Coffee Cat rolled female, and now we're going to determine the character's race. In the characters we've created so far in this fun world, it primarily seems to be dwarves and elves. And in fact, we even had an elf that was reincarnated as a dwarf. And the Dragonborn have also had a presence in that they are two of the magical high school's faculty. And let's find out, I guess, if this trend continues or if we're going to buck that trend. Pardon, I have the little piece of chip in my tooth. We're going to stick to the player's handbook because this is playtest material, Chaco. And I'd rather have our concepts go back to the core book than the playtest supplement referencing a supplement. Though we do have for other workshops all kinds of races that we can end up rolling into. This character randomizer, no. Though there is a character randomizer that was the precursor to this, which is a spreadsheet you can download from a pinned message in the Table Talk section of our Discord. Though this particular spreadsheet I have not made publicly available. We're still getting through things with it. It's kind of an experiment for this year. All right, Hark, will you roll a d10 to determine what is our race for this character? 7, a halfling. Ooh, so now we finally have a small race involved. All these other medium, I guess the dwarf is getting kind of close. And now we have a halfling. Excellent. Grimvex, will you please roll a d4 in chat, exclamation point 1 d4, to find out on a 1 or a 2 if we have a Lightfoot halfling, or a 3 and a 4 we have a Stout halfling. If we get Stout halfling, that's almost an honorary dwarf, by the way. We have an honorary dwarf, so apparently the dwarves, elves, and dragonborn continue. We have a female Stout Halfling. Stout Halflings are small, S-M-O-L. Yeah, you could play her that she's the runt. Yeah, if you don't want halflings, but you wanna run mechanically a halfling, talk to your DM. You could absolutely reflavor like that. All right, what is her alignment now? Dr. V, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 into chat and tell us what is this character's alignment? 85, she is neutral evil. Uh-oh. She is neutral evil. Now, does this mean that she kicks puppies in the street and burns down orphanages? No, it doesn't have to be. And so where I'm saying, uh-oh, isn't that her alignment is necessarily bad itself or evil. Evil for the sake of, yes, I'm an evil villain. Mwahaha. Our first character we made is also neutral evil. And this could mean that we have a bit of a bad girls club going on. You know, if we have the student council president, who's this neutral evil, kind of a trifling person, this could be someone else as well. Though, of course, the age at which we roll this character may also have an influence. The new party name is Path of Least Resistance. And hello, Shukan. Now, we know her level. This is going to be 17 levels of pure wizard. And, in particular, wizard, Onomancer. Or Onomancy, which is true name magic. A lot of people apparently have had bad history with gnomes. Oh, you're on lunch? Excellent, Shukan. Well, yeah, come hang out on your lunch with us. Shukan, we had a couple people pop their first boxes in our community, so like, one of us. It was a pleasure to do. And we finished up our character from last night, our multi-classed wizard bard, and now we're just starting into a new one. And Choco Paco Taco, thank you very much for the follow. Shukan, since you have some limited time, will you please roll a percentile in chat to determine if we are... Oh, no, I'm not trying to solicit you, Shukan, but you ask about such things. I wanted to inform you. But if you can give me a percentile roll, let's find out if we're going to take any feats. A 78, yes, we are. We are going to take one feat instead of just a stat bump. All right. Next up is the background for this character. Again, going with the player's handbook. Choco Paco Taco, will you please roll 1d20 in chat to help us determine which background she has? Oh, it was you, Wolf. Oh, gotcha. 5, another entertainer. This is our third entertainer. Now, technically, the other two were both gladiators, though that still falls under the entertainer umbrella, and we still have a streak of people who play instruments. This is really interesting. All right, now what kind of an entertainer are we? In the background, for a pure entertainer, it suggests choosing between 1 and 3 different types of performances that you're good at doing. And so, Wolfblade, will you please... yeah, from Airplane, Dr. V. Wolfblade, will you please roll a D3 in chat and find out how many different skills we have? It's going from a shonen anime to an idol anime. It seems to be taking that bend, Chaco. Like, so it's like idol school fighter, fantasy fighter. 2. All right, so we have 2 different routines as an entertainer. Grimvex, will you please roll 1d10 in chat for our first one? A 1. So whatever routine number 1 is. And then I would like to return to an entertainer that we have on our Tuesday game with Coffee Cat. And so Coffee Cat, would you also please give me a 1d10 roll in chat to determine our other performance that we're good at doing? A 6. All right, there's our placeholders. Einsgacha. Very well, Shukan. I will pull a gotcha for you here very quickly. I know you're on a bit of a time crunch with your lunch. All right. There's other elements that we're going to get to here shortly, but to continue down the way, we already know our class. By the way, Shukan, when I see stop in chat, I'll stop and pull. So next up are class features, and those are things like fighting styles, but wizards do not have those in the player's handbook, so I'm not going to be worried too much about that. And stop. Shukan has a yellow cap, gotcha. This is going to bring us down now to our age and then our physical features. So far, we have had 3 very young characters, hence anime protagonists, and 2 adult, like kind of mid-30s characters, and so of course those are the elderly teachers, so to speak. Shukan, you have a... let me double check. This is a human paladin, if I'm recalling correctly. Male human fighter. I'm sorry. This is a male human fighter with a sword and a shield. Or no, hang on. No, this isn't... Or is it a female fighter? I think it's a... Either it's a guy with long hair, which is fine, too. What were my... Oh, yeah. Nope, that's the right one. Well, you have a long-haired fighter with a sword and a shield. How about that? She's... look at that shield. You can say that she's riveting. Huh? Huh? There we go. Oh, until 3:10? Okay. Well, hey, we're still doing character creation, Shukan, so you're welcome to be a part of that as well. All right, now, let's see. Is there someone I haven't called on? Hark. Will you give me a percentile roll to determine how old our character is? Do we have another young anime protagonist? We stopped on a 20. Yes, we have a young adult. The anime continues strong, everyone. We now have 4? 1, 2, yeah, we now have 4 young adult characters and 2 adult characters. Oh, hey, Crumdrade. You're here too? All right, we'll get you in on a roll here. We rolled a Stout Halfling. All right, a young adult is 13 years old plus 1d7. So, Crumdrade, why don't you roll me a d8? Roll 1d8 in chat to determine how old she is. Rolled a 5. All right. She is 18 years old. And now I will roll 2d4 for her height modifier. 4 inches. She is 2 feet 11. Oh, she is a short stack. She is 2 feet 11 inches tall, and we're taking that same 4, multiplying it by 1, and adding that to her base weight of 35. 2 foot 11 and 39 pounds. All right, next up, we need our personality traits, an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. So can I get from Choco Paco Taco, will you please roll 1d8 in chat for a personality trait? And then Dr. V, will you please type exclamation point 4d6? And we'll use the first 3 numbers for the ideal, bond, and flaw. All right, so our first personality trait is number 1. Dr. V is saying that is reading and says, yes, our character has ideal number 3, bond number 4, and flaw number 1. And then lastly, Shukan, can you please roll a d8 in chat to determine her second personality trait? Oh, you might be indisposed. He is taking a lunch right now, so let's go with a who else is here? Is there someone I haven't called on a second time that's been rolling with us? Wolfblade. Roll a d8 for me, please. Lands on a 4. Okay, there's our personality traits, our ideal bond and flaw. And so now we have pulled an outline of this character. She is starting to form from the mists of creation. And let's read the results. The bones have been cast into the augury dish. And we're going to get a clearer picture now of this character. We begin with the background. At least here on this channel, we begin with the background. I don't know about y'all. And that is in Chapter 4. So for those of you playing along at home, if you have your player's handbooks, crack them open, as we're going to E for Entertainer. And let's discover more about her. Being an entertainer gives us proficiency in acrobatics and performance. This has definitely gone into an idle anime. Acrobatics and performance. We're going to have tool proficiencies with a disguise kit and one type of musical instrument. And so we'll roll for that. Let's go. Tools, disguise kit, and an instrument of some kind. Coffee Cat, will you roll a d10 and find out which instrument we're good at playing? We are going to have an instrument of our choice. Number 8. Gong is best instrument. You can use it for half cover. Yeah, we cart the gong around and just hide behind a big shield. Let's take a look real quick in the in Chapter 5. Now, of course, more instruments than these 10 exist, but for purposes of character creation, let's see what we have. A gong shield would be dope, says Coffee Cat. Instrument number 8. Bagpipes, drum, dulcimer, flute, lute, lyre, harp. Oh, a pan flute. We have a halfling that plays a pan flute. So she is, we have another flautist as well. So we have a traditional flute, a pan flute. The staff, both Dragonborn, ended up getting the lyre, or the lyra, for their instruments. Maybe suggesting that it could be like a racial thing, like it's a traditional instrument for them. And then we also had a... I'm forgetting offhand. Stringed instruments double as bows. Crumdrade, especially in Final Fantasy XIV, a bard's harp unfolds into a bow. It's really neat. Well, some of them do, I should say. Some of them do. All right, let's go back to Entertainer. So we're going to get a pan flute as a part of our package. A favor of an admirer. Crumdrade, will you roll a percentile in chat to determine what kind of a trinket we received from someone who admired our performances? Maybe it was passed down from a senpai. Maybe someone at one of our idol performances really loved us and threw something on stage. But our admirer's favor is going to be trinket number 4. All right. I don't know what that is offhand, but we will discover that as we read more and more about her character, and we'll see how this might very eerily fit into who she is and why she decided to go down this path. We're also going to get a costume. And a belt pouch that has 15 gapuz in it. Very good. Now, as an entertainer, we rolled that she was especially good as an actor and an instrumentalist. That is number 1 and number 6 for our routines. So she is an actor and an instrumentalist. That might end up helping us choose which feat she's going to take. But I don't want to pre-fill that slot just yet. Maybe she's a natural actor and doesn't need a feat for it. We'll find out. Her background feature is by popular demand. And this means that wherever we can go and perform, we can get, food and shelter, maybe some extra money. We might be able to, hobnob a little bit, get some info. It's very handy, especially because people are always looking for entertainment. Now for our characteristics. This is the meat of why we. This is the meat of why we start with the background. I want to know more about her. Yeah, she's a wizard. That's cool. We're gonna get to that. I want to know about her as a person, which includes being a wizard. So I'm going to scoot this a little bit off of camera. In fact, I should zoom in. I should zoom in a little bit here. There we go. I'll try and make this as readable as I can for y'all. Personality trait number 1 is... I know a story relevant to almost every situation. And personality trait number 4. Nobody stays angry at me or around me for long, since I can diffuse any amount of tension. We had another character that could do this with his fighting routine as a gladiator entertainer. And this could mean also a connection, as our two older senpais are apparently the evil ones that are making these connections with their kohais and possibly teaching them how to tumble and fight and do all this. But nobody stays angry at me or around me for long, since I can defuse any amount of tension, which probably means that while our first neutral evil character is very overtly selfish and it's about me and I'm the princess and all this other stuff, this one is probably more of a conniver. She is selfish as per her expression through her alignment. But she doesn't do things that she's maybe more of a trickster. She's probably more of a trickster than just a pure manipulator. So she'll pull a prank on it and she'll enjoy the humor in the bucket of water falling on someone from an open door, things like that. Though it doesn't mean she's necessarily doing it to, that she's getting the rise out of bullying someone. She just thinks that something is funny, or she's, I get bored, and so she does something that is disruptive. But I bat my little halfling eyes. I'm a cutie little short stack halfling. You can't stay mad at me, you. And it seems that almost no matter what, not that she's consequence free. Otherwise, this is a super powerful mechanically aligned personality trait. She's not necessarily free from consequence, but this would seem that she can more easily get out of some consequences. She's so short that they can't take her seriously. I like that, Krumdrade. Hey, Solace, welcome back. The wizard's going well. We finished our random number generation, and now we're just starting to read into her as a character and exploring her personality and history, Solace. Also, Dr. V, I don't think I read your comment. It says, Evil Zamfir, Mistress of the Pipes of Pain. It's a very dramatic title. But you know what? She's in high school, so maybe she wanted to have that as her title. And as a true name wizard, she knows that there's power in it, so maybe she wants to empower this as a title so other people will respect her. Because you know what? Maybe she lashes out because she is short. And in fact, we'll get to that in a little bit when we get to the racial info, how we can weave this into what we already have. Good evening, or, well, morning? Well, morning for me, probably more evening for you still, Technotron. Hello, things are going very well. Her ideal is number 3. Creativity. The world is in need of new ideas and bold action. You know what she would do? She would be the person who places like a taped piece of paper on someone's back or their backside that says like "I'm a dummy," and has people call call others a dummy or a bully or whatever, because she's trying to establish their identity as such. So when she wants to lash out against them using true name magic, she says, "You there, dummy! Cast a spell because that's your true name." Nikki, hello! Welcome back, Nikki D. Her bond to this world that we're creating, this fantasy idol school fighter anime, is number 4. I idolize a hero of the old tale. Oh, this is Mordecai. And measure my deeds against that person's. I idolize a hero of the old tales and measure my deeds against that person's. Even if it is an old trickster. And every culture seems to have a trickster in their history or in their religions. And what is her flaw? I mean, she may tell you nothing, which in itself is a flaw. Though the one that we know she has is number 1. I'll do anything to win fame and renown. So she loves the thrill. She wants to play with that fire. She wants everyone to know her name, or at least the name that she makes them aware of. Because she can manipulate that power. She can boost herself or protect herself, or if she learns others, because they want to get to know her persona. Persona. We're making social links now, everyone. Kind of. We actually are making social links between the characters, if you think about it. So congratulations. This is now an idol school-based Persona game. Where they have to fight monsters and... Oh, this is Persona. Blood Deuce, hey, I know this isn't really related to the current character building session, but slowly you've been getting me to reconsider my vitriolic view towards Bard as a class. And how is that, Blood Deuce? What could be a breaking point, or what's something that you considered really about that we've softened, if only a little bit, here for you? I'll do anything. So she is an ambitious little potato right here. And I can say that because I play a Lalafell in Final Fantasy XIV. That's our word. She's an ambitious little potato. A potat, even. She's only 2'1". She doesn't get the whole word yet. She hasn't even broken 3 feet. So cool. We know her personality. We've developed a history around her. We know what motivates her and generally what she does with the skills and abilities she has now by way of being a halfling and by way of being a wizard, and specifically a true name wizard. Let's go back up to halfling. Yeah, I love this picture. It's so full of energy and delight. All halflings are going to increase their dex score by 2. They have a base walking speed of 25 feet, 12 climb, 12 swim, 0 fly. We are lucky. Oh, she's getting lucky, everyone. Ooh. Well, high school's kind of when that stuff starts to happen. And she is also brave, giving her advantage on saving throws against being frightened. So advantages versus frightened. We also have halfling nimbleness. You can move through the space of any creature that is of a size larger than yours. Languages, we get common and halfling. And for our subrace, we were not Lightfoot, instead we were Stout. As a Stout halfling, you're hardier than average and have some resistance to poison. Some say that Stouts have dwarven blood. In the Forgotten Realms, these halflings are called Stronghearts, and they're most common in the south. So this could very well be, mechanically we're running a Stout Heart halfling, though as was brought up earlier in chat, she could just be a dwarf who's short. Who's shorter. You know, the runt of the litter kind of a thing. Or the fact that maybe she's such a trickster, she lashes out with negative behavior to get people's attention because people forget about her. She needs to make herself known. She's tired of people forgetting about her. Even having dwarves, let alone the bigger races, call her, you know, hey, how's the weather down there? Kind of a thing. Now, if you don't want that idea, and you want to stick to, sure, if we're talking a D&D, anime, fantasy, idol, academy, isekai, we're just adding on all sorts of stuff. Then halflings, sure, why not have a short race that lives in this community too? And here we have a short race as a representative. In fact, she could even be a mix. Maybe the short race are the Lightfoot, though the dwarves and the halflings may often intermingle. And there you go. Maybe the Lightfoot halflings are actually a mix of elf, and so the halflings are their own thing. In fact, maybe, what about this? What if halflings in this world are born from dalliances between elves and dwarves? You know, if we want to keep other, like, you know, we haven't had a human. Maybe no humans exist here. That's fine. And by the way, as a DM, never be afraid to exclude. You know, say, you know, I'm not opposed to Dragonborn mechanically, but in this world, Dragonborn just don't have a place. And you could reskin or just exclude. But what's not to say that we don't reflavor our halflings as simply the progeny of an elf and a dwarf. And depending on, you know, kind of like in Pokemon breeding, because it's big Pokemon season right now, you know, you get certain traits from the mom Pokemon or the dad Pokemon. And in this case, then, Lightfoots could be more elven-style halflings, and Stouts can be more dwarf-infused. I want you to always consider these fun alternatives. You know, we're talking about anime tropes, and by the way, I know there's conversation up above. I'll get to that in a second. I know we're talking anime tropes, you know, with the class president that's full of herself, and, you know, and the kind of the hard-ass teacher, but when she goes home, you know, she's like, oh, I'm single, am I ever going to get married? And she drinks a bunch, and, you know, just sort of like, maybe she's even roommates with the other Dragonborn, because they're, like, living, you know, on a teacher's salary is the joke or something. They're living together in an apartment, and so, you know, you have some interesting times between those two as they play off each other. You know, as you have this lawful evil one that's this, you know, hard-ass drill instructor who is honestly doing it to try and help kids. And then you have this neutral good one who's actually trying to climb the corporate academy ladder here to become like the chairman or the principal or something like that. And she's willing to be kind of vicious about doing it. You know, but you have those tender moments where the raucousy one, you know, in an anime, like, you know, she drunk a bunch, you know, is complaining and then passes out, probably using her boobs as a pillow. And then the other one comes in, is like looking like, oh, come on, this again, and goes over. And, you know, and you just have this like tender moment between the two. She's like, come on, I'll take you to bed. And you know, has this. And so where the evil one is now suddenly, you know, a sympathized, a character with which we can sympathize, even though she's going to wake up in the morning, realize, how'd I get in bed? I must have been really drunk. Oh, I better go teach those kids, and then just, you know, take it out at school. So we're talking about, you know, some cool tropes, but we can put our own original twists to make it our story. Blood Deuce was continuing, I've always hated the Bard class due to the limited spell selection, low spells learned, overall the limited nature of the class features, and how minimal benefits they get to actually work with. But every time I listen to you develop a character with the chat, it softens my view on 5e as a whole, and I'm just starting to think that Bard has more potential than I gave it credit for. I'm very glad, Blood Deuce, and, you know, ultimately you're the only one who can change your mind. You know, it's not my place to say bards are the super awesome best or worst, because we all have those opinions. And if you're finding more and more about ways to play the character, perhaps in different ways than you thought, then have fun with it. I mean, Blood Deuce, especially with our non-optimized characters, we've made some awesome, and I think we even made a bard that wasn't optimized very well at all. And yet they were still functional, extremely fun to play, had a history, and could use their mix of skills and other assets to not just be, well, I'm a flavor of caster, and instead I always, in the workshop, I want us to realize we're making a character. We're not making a bard. We're making a character, which includes, as part of the character, being a bard, and even to a greater extent, some other flavor of bard. You know, so to call Mordecai, who is Coffee Cat's character on Tuesday, a bard is doing Mordecai a great injustice, because Mordecai is so much more than a bard. And the things that he's gone through have been flavored by his bardness, but it's not necessarily revolving just around that. I've taken elements of everyone's classes and I've tried to personalize it beyond. So I don't think I've ever expressed this, and I don't think any of you in the Tuesday group ever have. But Coffee, I never want you to ever consider Mordecai to be a bard. You know, Mordecai is Mordecai, and in the game I address you as such. You know, unless I'm razzing you through an NPC or something. You know, but just like Jade was a warlock, but she was so much more.
More.
3 more gotchas? All right, Shukan. I will pull those for you here. You know, but Jade was so much more than a warlock, and the warlock was simply, it wasn't the end. It wasn't where the spells originated and the mechanics, you know, the rubber met the road with mechanics. Her being a warlock, even though she's not been in the game for quite a while now, has had a huge impact on the game because of who she is. Kate, good morning to you. Hello. Speaking of teachers, Kate, we're you might be able to sympathize or even get excited about the story we're developing. But Blood Deuce, I appreciate you sharing that sentiment. And also, as I play on D&D time as well, I'm not saying I don't want to toot my own horn like I'm suddenly like some, you know, master role player over there and I'm shaking things up. But I sincerely hope that, especially because you see me in the workshop, and you also see how I present games, that I can also help you look at different ways to use spells or interactions and backgrounds and all this other stuff, even in the context of D&D time. So Shukan, I want you to tell stop 3 times and I'll pull as I continue to read chat here. Grimvex says, Bard is never a class I would choose myself, That way, in my previous group, we rolled on random classes before making a character. Oops, stop. All right, we have a blue cap. Are we making a teacher? We've made a teacher and an ambitious administrator as a parent. Oh, Tamare. And we have a lavender in our last one. As all this week, Kate, everything has kind of been building into a big old anime, like, oh man, halt. An anime, like, pop idol high school fighting story. We have all the tropes of a wonderful, manga or anime here. Crumdrade says Stouts get special bonus. Female dwarf without facial hair? Hey, in this world, if we want dwarves with or without facial hair, that's fine. Whether they're male or female. Do we have a Yandere yet? Kind of. By the way, your first, you have a cranberry dice bag, Shukan, in your first capsule. A cranberry dice bag. The first character we made was kind of a Yandere, or she'd at least be a Himedare, though she's very vicious about it because she wants to one-up people. But I don't know, I guess if we're talking like creepy obsessive, I don't think we've made a full-on one. Next up, we have a lavender cap with, hey, it's a piece of paper inside. So let's see if we can cheer up Shukan on lunch break with something fun. So yeah, if we're talking the dairy charts, I don't think we have a Yandere yet. We kind of have a Trickster here. I don't know, if she is neutral evil, I don't know if she's necessarily obsessed in that regard. You know, nobody stays angry at me, so you know, you might be able to argue, well, Yandere should never get caught. She thinks creatively and is in need of bold action. She does idolize someone. Ooh, someone-sama. I don't want anyone to sully. I guess we have a Yandere. Shukan, what did you do? You planted that idea in my head, and now I'm looking at the entire background we rolled up for her, and we might very well have a Yandere halfling. And when you get a vicious little short stack like this, watch out. I'll do anything to win fame and renown. Oh my goodness. Shukan, what did you do? And by the way, Shukan, you have a Rakdos Ogre. A Rakdos Ogre. Metal. Yep, even has some piercings on the chest there, if you get what I mean. Yep, just send me a note about it. And the final pull for Shukan. Ah, Shukan, every party can use one of these. You have a pack mule. You have a pack mule. In Cursive Strahd, the party ended up, when I was running it as the public game at the store, the group had their donkeys killed in a battle, and one of the characters brought them back with Raised Dead, and from that point forward, they're known as Zombadonks. You hand out bags of holding like candy? If you want to put it up for trade, then you can. But you can also be like me and never allow bags of holding in your game. With the theme of what we're going with our our petty high school whatever coffee cat. This is gymnastics, not gymnastics. All right, so we are a... we've had a interesting discussion now about how we want to flavor her. This world continues to grow. 19. So there's 5 per row. It looks like there's 18 capsules left. Now let's find out what we get by way of being a wizard, and oh my goodness. We have a Yandere. A Yandere true name wizard that once she learns your name, she's going to be able to do stuff to you. Oh my gosh. Shukan, I love your mind, and I hate where we're going. The best minds have the worst ideas. Let's lean into it. Let's make a Yandere true name wizard. 17 levels of it. We get a +6 to our proficiency bonus. This is what we're building right here. We're a D6 hit die class, so we get 17 of those suckers. 17 D6. So that's our natural recovery while we rest. We get no armor proficiencies because we wish to bear our heart to our senpai. We get certain wizard weapons. I'm just going to put wizard weapons as the proficiency since it's a custom list. I don't want to write them all out. No tool proficiencies. Saving throws are going to be intelligence and wisdom. And then we're going to get to choose 2 skills from Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, and Religion. Let's check it out. I know a story relevant to almost every situation. I think that's going to end up being History. Nobody stays angry at me or around me for long since I can defuse any amount of tension. That could either be through spell selection, or that could end up being, we have performance, so we make people feel happy that way. The world's in need of new ideas and bold action. That seems like Investigation. I idolize a hero of old tales. Well, that's History. I'll do anything to win fame and renown. Yeah, I think this is Investigation, as she devises ways to pull pranks and to take out the competition, so to speak. And she idolizes a senpai in History. Falling asleep as it is, Choco Paco Taco, thank you so much for sticking around, for the follow, and for helping to build this character. I hope you had fun. And while this is the final broadcast of this week, Choco, we hope to see you back on Tuesday for role-playing, and if not, another Wednesday through Saturday. And this Wednesday, oh shoot, I don't think I'll be broadcasting this Thursday, ? It's Thanksgiving. But Wednesday's the miniature giveaway. Blood Deuce, I'd love to stick around longer, but I have to be up in 5 hours to start a house repair project. Thanks for the talk. Blood Deuce, when you finish, do you want to come over to Ohio? I could use a hand with a couple things around the house. I'll pay you in copious amounts of miniatures. Blood Deuce, have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And again, Blood Deuce, thank you for letting me know that that this workshop has had an effect in a positive way on you. That means a lot to me. Gonna have to get back to work in a bit. See you guys tomorrow. Unless I'm still streaming at 5. I don't know if I'm streaming till 5. There's one more character I want to make, Shukan. So I guess we'll find out. Can Fae be a playable race? Depending on the DM. I mean, gnomes are implied to have Fae ancestry. Elves have a mechanic called Fae ancestry. In Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, centaurs are Fae and not humanoid. Volo's Guide says anything can be a playable race, which is pretty true, yeah. In many ways, you just reskin something, you know? Have fun with it. It's your world. You'll account for it when it comes time. All right, we get... I'm not going to worry about the starting equipment. We're level 17. She probably has a dagger, by the way. We could even call it like Shukan's dagger. By the way, Shukan, do you have a name in mind for this character? If you're thinking Yandere, like, was she giving off a vibe of some kind to you? Spellcasting we're going to get to. Not going to worry about it just yet. We're still focusing on who this person is by way of being a wizard. Wizards cast spells. Congratulations. Now, with that consideration out of the way, let's delve into the specifics. We are going to get Arcane Recovery, so we can get a couple of our spell slots back when we rest. Our Arcane Tradition will be in the Unearthed Arcana in just a second. ASI, we're going to get one at 4, 8, 12, and 16. So we'll get 4 of them. And we're just shy of having Spell Mastery, let alone signature spells. So Arcane Recovery is what we get for being... Whoops. Oh, that's class. Whoopsies. That's what we get from just being a wizard. Our archetype, however, is going to give us a lot more goodies. So coming back to the Onomancer, or the true name wizard. Remember, they're ones who find the names of creatures and can use their label in existence against them in some way. And I know Bubonic One, I don't know if he's still here, did have an issue with this version of Onomancy. And that this is a generalized anything with a name has magic against it. And Bubonic might have been thinking more along like an older, like you have the true names of demons and fiends, and you're sort of like a devil binder or a demon, like a demon controller, because you have power over them. Even Fae. Think of Rumpelstiltskin. So it's more of like Onomancy is more like a summoner and a controller than just a sorcerer wizard. And the sorcery options come with you knowing the person's name. You know it's in their blood instead of having the blood yourself. Oh, hey, Bubonic, you are still here. Onomancy is true name. Call of Cthulhu style. You think her name is Constantine Grimvex? Taking names and being evil. You got it, Kate. What a way to start your Sunday morning, but with a little Yandere halfling, who's a dwarf but isn't a dwarf. All right, so we can extract name. You can magically compel a creature to divulge its true name. As a bonus action, you target one creature you can see within 60 feet of you. The target must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a successful save, you discern that this magic failed, and you can't use this feature on the target again. On a failed save, the target is charmed by you until the end of your next turn, and you mentally learn the charmed target's name, or the fact the target lacks a name. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your int mod per long rest. So int/long rest. And so this is how we can, as a bonus action, coax someone up to, tell me your name. She is kind of a sadist, I guess. Tell me your name now, and kind of does a magical finger wiggle, and then like the name kind of maybe like magically pours out of a person, and she kind of, oh yes, your name. It's a horrible name. I hate it, and I hate you. Pew 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 pew. Fateful naming. You can bend magic to assist or hinder creatures throughout the power of their true names, and even use those names as an anchor to affect others around them. The Bane and Bless spells are wizard spells to you, and you add them to your spell book. You always have them prepared, yet they don't count against the number of spells you can prepare. You can cast either spell without expending a spell slot if you speak the true name of one target of the spell as part of casting it. You can cast the spells in this way a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So Fateful Naming, int/long rest, and this is going to put Fateful Naming, Bane, and Fateful Naming, Bless. Next up, Resonant Utterance. You learn words of power called resonance, and this is how we're kind of a sorcerer blend here. Resonance. We're gonna end up with 4 of these. When you gain this feature, you learn 2 resonance of your choice, which are detailed in the resonant options section. Each time you gain a level in this class, you can replace one resonant you know with a different one. This is also like invocations. You can use one resonant when you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot and speak the true name of the creature targeted by the spell. Speaking the name is part of casting the spell. You can use resonance a number of times equal to half your wizard level, rounded down. And so over here we're going to get resonance, and this is going to be 8, since that's half of 17 rounded down. Here are your options when choosing a resonant, and we're going to end up with 4 of these, because at level 10 we get 2 more resonance. I hate it, and Bubonic says, I hate it and I hate you. God help me, Yandere is the worst trope in anime. It's even worse than the girl gets sick and guys are dimwits. So she has absorption. When you cast a spell that deals damage to the named target, you gain 3d6 temporary hit points. The number of temporary hit points you gain increases by 1d6, so we would be getting more. We'd be, I guess, almost like sucking the essence out of a creature, which is kind of a Yandere thing to do, kind of a trickster thing to do, as she is willing to do anything for fame and renown, and she's creative, and she's just she wants attention. She's the forgotten short stack that's lashing out to get attention. Devastation. If the spell requires the named creature to make a saving throw, that creature is disadvantaged on the first save it makes against the spell. You will listen to me! Devastation is for sure. Because in this build, Devastation's very powerful. The fact that you could just do this 8 times per long rest, where sorcerers have to shell out 3 sorcery points apiece and have this as one of their meta magic feats. Dissolution. The first time the named creature takes damage from a spell, that creature takes extra force damage. Dissolution seems like that'd be something she'd take too. Nullification. If the named target is affected by any other spells, you know what those spells are, and you can attempt to end... Oh, that is absolutely good for a trickster. Devastation and nullification. So, you thought you had mage armor, did you? Puppetry. Yo, puppetry. The first time the named creature takes damage from the spell, you can knock the creature prone or move it up to 10 feet. Puppetry, and I want to give her dissolution because she is just, you're going to pay attention to her, and she's going to hit you hard with a spell. Now, if you have other suggestions, obviously, talk about it in chat. This is what comes to my mind. And if you're happy with it, hey, that's fine. And if you're not, in secret, you're like, I don't want to speak up because I'm going to feel embarrassed, just download this character sheet later when it goes up on our Discord and change it yourself for your own version of this character. Then we get relentless naming. You have learned how to bypass a named creature's defenses against certain types of damage. When you cast a spell that deals damage to a creature whose true name you speak as part of casting the spell, you can also cause the spell to deal force or physical damage to the creature. Or force or psychic damage, instead of the spell's normal type. So we get some modification to some more rarely resisted, and possibly vulnerable damage types. Alright, so here we go. We have our background, our race, and our class, and our subclass. We have the chassis of our character, and now we're going to put the engine into her by adding the standard array to her character sheet. And real quick, I think Stout Hearts, I forgot to put down their we got so into talking about the origins of the halflings here Stout gets a con +1. And you have advantage on saving throws against poison. So versus frightened / poison. And also we have resistance to poison damage. Okay. She is now going to get a feat of some kind. Because before, well, let's talk through this first. I think she's absolutely intelligent because she's conniving. I have no problem putting the max 15. And you might say, well, you should always put the 15. She's a wizard. Duh. We don't always build optimum characters here. It's possible to run a perfectly functional character that doesn't have maxed out stats. This character in this case, though, I think she would have, if not maxed out, a very high intelligence. A part of me as well, for as much as she's been through stuff, she's probably been bullied. You know, if she might have even, you know, she has such determination that she just forces an imposition onto other people. What if we made her a high constitution wizard? Like, what if we put the 14? What if we put the 14 into con? Now, she does act, and so I think that we should give her a 13 charisma and a 12 dexterity. Her wisdom is average. And perhaps she's not the strongest, you know, she's not the strongest bean in the box. Or, ooh, everyone, how about this? She needs to pull some practical jokes. So an average strength would do her well. She doesn't always have the foresight for her pranks. She's extremely intelligent, but perhaps not aware of all of the consequences. Bubonic One says, if she's Yandere, then she's going to know at least some damage spells. You can get someone's attention without being mean. Yeah. I think she very well will have damaging spells. I think that she would be fun to play with an 8 wisdom. And again, you might say, hold on, Matty Morgs, but wisdom is such a major save in this game against magic. So build a character that takes a bunch of counter spells. Or just lean into it and realize, yeah, that's her weakness. If you realize your character's weakness, it's so much easier to plan for it and develop it and to work alongside it. And I love that she's so focused, you know, she's scheming, but she doesn't have that long view. I mean, she's still going to have a +5 to her wisdom saving throw. I like this build, but if any of you think differently, hey, it's cat butt time. It's an official stream. There you go. Flaunt it if you got it, huh, bud? So this is going to give her a 15 con and a 14 dex. Now we're going to choose one feat from chapter 6 to give her. And a part of me is really thinking to go actor, which could very well be what we go with. Though what if there's something else that is out there just getting us to think maybe this would be more along the lines of her resolve. My party killed a BBG with Dispel Magic. Yeah, hey, BBG's, I don't know, is maintaining concentration on something. You dispel that magic. It's gone. and they no longer have super strength and get crushed under the boulder they're going to throw on you or something. Guy was flying using magic, and they dispelled magic to him and fell to his death. That happens. That about happened on D&D time last night also. Except I wasn't the BBG, but I would have been in that role on the channel. So there is the actor feat. You know, your charisma increases by 1, so we'd get a stat bump there. We have advantage on deception and performance checks. That could come in handy for us being a Yandere. And I can mimic the speech of another person or sounds made by creatures. So that could go into our trickery very well. So actor's obviously a very strong contender here. Something else that came to mind, and bear with me on this, would be resilient. We gain proficiency, so we'll get a point in Constitution, and we'll gain proficiency in Constitution as well. So we can make our Constitution saves to maintain our spells. And also to further resist poison, necrotic damage, acid in some cases. Because I think at her core, our Stout Halfling, she has a good heart, but it's been twisted by bullies. She's had to put up with a lot of stuff, and so now she lashes out. And I think she's the type that when it really comes down to it, you can count on her in a pinch. And I think that resilient, because magical spells can simulate the effects of actor pretty easily. So she might just get those spells as a wizard. But resilient speaks about her heart. Speaks about who she is at her core. Is a force of personality and physicality. Despite being 2'11", she is tough. And if I do not hear any objections, I would like to give Resilient Constitution to her. And that's going to bump her con up to 16. Now we have 3 ability score improvements to give her. So that's 6 points that we can, trickle throughout her character. Let's round up intelligence to 16 and charisma to 14. And then we have 4 points left. Paco versus Paco. Welcome. She's tough. She's the type, again, because all the characters are kind of building us in a direction that we're considering this to be kind of like an idle school fighter, fantasy, isekai adventure here. She's a trickster Yandere, a halfling who's bitter that people keep looking her over. And so, she lashes out to try and get attention. And at her core, because she's been through rough stuff herself, which is probably what turned her heart to be cruel, she has that toughness. Whether it could be a physical thickness. I mean, she's 2'11", but that doesn't mean that she's not, a short stack in height, but also, in breadth as well. But she has that toughness, not the feet, though. She's going to get a good amount of hit points for this. But this is going to give us 0 mod in strength, 2 dex, 3 con, 3 int, -1 wisdom, and 2 charisma. Her saving throws for strength are 0 and 0. Dex is going to be 2, 2, and 2 for sleight of hand and stealth, 8 for acrobatics. Constitution saving throw? Check out that 9. We're not going to be dropping spells very easily at all. We'll be dropping a lot of other things, but not our spells. Yes, bubonic. I do agree with that. It may not always be positive attention or sociable, but people know of her. Not that she can't be. Again, she might be neutral evil. It doesn't mean that she has to kick puppies and burn down orphanages. It's just that she's very self-centered. All right, intelligence saving throws a 9. That's going to give us a 3 Arcana, a 9 History, a 9 Investigation to devise tricks and traps. Wisdom saving throws a +5. Everything else in Wisdom, because we're having trouble seeing past our own nose, which is a cruel irony of a short joke. -1 to her Wisdom skills. Charisma is a 2 saving throw. Deception, Intimidation, Persuasion. And Performance is an 8. Our passive perception is going to be 9. We are not very aware. We're not very aware of sights and sounds going on around us. Armor class, again, we're a wizard. Who knows what spells we have? What magnificent armors at level 17 we have. I'm just going to put X as a variable. As a halfling, we get 0 dark vision. Initiative, we do get a +2. With Mage Cape, what do you, as in a particular item, or are you talking something else in particular, Paco? Now her hit points. Ooh, I mean, we want to talk about an area of thickness, Paco. At first level, she's going to get all 6 of her hit points from her hit die. The remaining 16 levels of her 17, because the first level's taken care of already, we get half +1 of our hit die, so that's 4. Now, you might have a DM that has you roll for it, or you might ask to roll for it, but in a sort of a standard issue character, this is what we're doing. Then for all 17 of our levels, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. Oh, you mean like mage armor? The one that's a spell 13 plus dex is your armor class? Because, I mean, 15 would certainly help out. Better than a 12 if she's wearing nothing else. How did I mean that? That's up for you to interpret. This is going to give us 52 extra hit points from bringing that up, that resilience, and plus, remember, we get the advantage there. And then this is going to be 64 hit points. And so this is going to be 70 plus 52. We have 122 hit points at level 17 as a wizard. You know, she'd be the one to taunt, like, again, if we're talking anime or whatever, she's going to go out, like, bend over, pat her butt, like, come on, you can't get me. Come on after me. I'm just a little wizard. And meanwhile, like, a spell hits her, and she just, like, flexes and tanks the spell. Did I say come get me? I have you. Unlimited power. And she just turns around and completely reverses fortune here. Alright, if we're attacking with a strength-based weapon, this is going to be attacking at a +6 if we have proficiency. With a dex-based weapon, we'll be a little bit better at a +8 to hit. And then, of course, you know, the variables here. I'm not worried about the details. It's a 17th level wizard. I mean, I could write dagger, but you write dagger. This spreadsheet will be available for, or not, this character sheet will be available for you on our Discord Sunday or Monday. And if you want to specify her loadout, go ahead and do so. Next up, we have... Oh, you know what? I forgot to write down how many cantrips we're getting. At level 17, we know 5 cantrips. So I'm going to put the placeholders here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Also, we have our spell slots. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, and 1. Excellent. Now, if we're attacking with our spells... then this is going to be a... Oh, you know what? Did I put the last... I didn't put the last 2. Her intelligence goes up to... Well, hang on. Oh, shoot. I'm trying to remember where I left off. Yeah, we didn't touch her dexterity. I put 1 in intelligence and charisma to round those up. So we had 4 more points. Yeah, I didn't add in the other ASI, so actually this is going to be a little bit higher. I kind of am thinking, let's split this. Let's split this between her intelligence and her charisma. There we go. 4 plus 6, we have a plus 10 to hit with our spells. And to resist our spells, you need, an 18. That's 8. It's a floating 8 plus your attack modifier to resist a spell in whatever category you're casting as your character. Or if you have something like Breath Weapon with a Dragonborn, it's off of Con. But it's ability modifier plus proficiency bonus plus 8. Excellent. She's earned herself a name now. She's no longer a random pile of notes and stats. And we'll come down here. We are preparing spells as a wizard. So spells prepared equals our wizard level of 17 plus our intelligence modifier, which is 4. So we're going to be able to prepare 21 spells of all the spells we're going to know, and we're going to know a lot. So we cast off of intelligence. We had an 18 to save and a plus 10 to hit. And the Onomancer has our resonance as a class consumable. And that was equal to half rounded down of our wizard level here. So cantrips, I'm not going to fill in the specifics of what they are. We certainly can always discuss them and go back, but for the main character building exercise, I'm not going to worry about that. Bane and Bless don't count against the number that we know. 2, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And so, now we're going to add in the spells that we know. Today is Sunday, meaning I get to play my Tabaxi Druid. I'm excited. Ooh, can you share a story about your Tabaxi with us, Kate? You like wizards over sorcerers because of that. Now, these are spells at level 1. You get 6 spells to begin with in your book. Every level after, you get 2 spells for free that you can add into any spell slot for which you can cast. So for purposes of what we're doing here, I'm just going to add spells as we can get them. But nothing would stop you at level 3, when normally you could take 2 level 2 spells, to go back and take another level 1 spell and 1 level 2 spell. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. There we go. 3, 3, I forgot what level we were building to for a second there. Derp. 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11s and 12s, and 13s, and our 14s, our 15s, our 16s, our 17s, and there we go. You okay, bud? Oh, you just licking your paw? Alright, that works. Keep on being a cat. And lastly but not leastly, before we decide on a name for her here, we rolled a trinket. This is something that an admirer had given her as a part of her background, as an entertainer. It could have been her senpai. This could be the thing that could have set her on the path to become a Yandere or a Trickster. It could be the thing that maybe someone gave her that is going to cause a redemption arc in a role-playing story, as those are always fun to play through. So the last part here to reveal, if we go to Chapter 5, she received the favor of an admirer of some kind, and that is trinket number 4. And let's determine, does the story yet again write itself in such a way that this is going to make a whole lot of sense in a very fun fashion. A diary written in a language you do not know. As an Onomancer, as a wizard, as someone who keeps her spells in a book, and who keeps a book of names as well. Someone handed us a diary written in a language we don't know. Someone who maybe knew our power, or wants to, or this is a machination of the big bad evil guy, and who handed this character this book in order to get her to start doing things on his or her behalf. So the blame can be shifted onto, whatever. She's just she's a no good kid halfling. She just pulls tricks and tries to get sympathy, because she's good at acrobatics and stuff, at performing it as an actor. But this could very well play into her ego, and can play into the fact that she does read books and write in books and keep books. And this is the challenge. I have to figure out this gift that Senpai gave to me. And she stays up late at night, bags under her eyes, trying to read this book and perhaps going a little bit more mad in the process. Very much does trinket number 4 write itself both into the character and the overarching story that we've been developing along the way.